Okay, Leo and Cyndia. Are there plans to revamp how personal homebrew is organized? Like, can we have different homebrew applied to different campaigns, not the same in all as it is now? This is definitely something that we want to do. It is certainly on our list. It is something that we would likely look at when we take a very, very big pass on homebrew and that entire system. We're not exactly sure when we're going to get to that, and as you saw before, it wasn't necessarily one of the next things that we're looking at, but it is something that we want to get at probably in kind of the next. It's barely off the slide, so we're gonna see how that part goes. Arizona T87. What became of the wrestler subclass that you, Todd, and Mike worked on? Well, we actually got that to a pretty good point, and I'm not exactly sure how or when or if that's going to be used. But yeah, we did some additional design after the fact, and I personally enjoyed it quite a bit. Play tested it a little while myself. So if we don't see anything official come out, in the next year, I'll definitely check into it and see if it's something that I can just, uh, you know, post myself somewhere where everybody can maybe use that. Aaron Lore, what's your most used class? So I use paladins probably the most, possibly, or definitely fighters next. And then after that, it would probably be barbarians. I typically like melee combatants. I like characters that get into the thick of things. And I like characters that can be brave and bold. And so those are the preferences there for me. I adore bards, and I would say that in real life, I'm probably closer to a bard than some of the other classes. Paladin, maybe in some ways, I champion a lot of things, but I also like amateur archery, like in real life, and so the thing is, after shooting actual, bows and arrows, doing it in the game is not as exciting as I wish it would be. And so, I kind of wouldn't mind maybe taking a stab at some type of archery subclass in the future that has a little more to it than I attack four times and hit you with an arrow. But yeah, definitely prefer playing paladins, fighters, barbarians, and I have certainly been known to play a bard here or there. Saber Raider. What do you think of the Wild Mount setting so far? I think it is really a lot of trouble, to be honest, for our characters, and we've got to do something to make sure. I won't provide spoilers if you're not caught up, but we've got to do something to rectify the current situation. But no, Wild Mount's great, and the book itself is going to be fantastic. And so, if you are a Critical Role fan or just a fan of Dungeons and Dragons, there's going to be so much to sink your teeth into with this book. It really is an impressive feat. The writers involved, are incredible as well. So it is a really, really good product. Very excited to see that come out. Artemis Themp. First, thanks for bringing Grung to DDB. And now for the actual question. Do you know if DDB will be getting Exploring Eberron from Keith Baker? I have no details on that at this point in time. As my answer always would be here is I would love to have everything that I possibly could have on DDB because I understand that that is a convenient thing for our fans out there. Sometimes we're just not allowed to do those, to add those products depending on the type of license that we have in place. And so I genuinely just don't know on that one yet, but it is something we'll certainly be looking into and checking into. All right. Death Angel's Shadow. Any word on a DM's overview panel window page so we can easily see and adjust hit point, etc. of our players and creatures during our game? So I definitely have a word on this. I'm trying to see. Let me just open a new tab here. Hopefully this won't mess up. Well, actually, voice in my head. Is it gonna? We're okay. All right, fantastic. All right, I've got to sign in apparently. Okay, here we go. Now we are going to look at. Let's see, what is it going to be? I think that it's going to be easiest for, yeah, let's go this direction. Oh, we're down for maintenance. That's funny. That is really, really funny. Okay, so I can't show you this right now, I don't think. Um, because we are down for maintenance on the encounter builder. But the combat tracker that we are currently working on is definitely going to do what you're describing here anyway, which is be able to adjust hit points, see the stats of players and creatures quickly and easily, as well as do things like track initiative. So that is the gist of what we're trying to do with the initial pass of combat tracking. Valentine 9K, will anyone from the DDB team be at C2E2 later this month? Yes, I will not be. However, I know that Lauren Urban, Obo, is going to be there. So be sure to say hello to her. And then I believe that we will have a few other team members there. I'm just not exactly sure who, because I hear there's a Critical Role live game going on there at some point. And so, yeah, we will certainly have team members there. That's one that I will not be able to personally make. Lots and lots of travel for me. And so I have to kind of put my foot down in certain places to make sure that I still get plenty of time with my lovely family because I want to make sure that I get to play plenty of D&D with my sons and whatever else whatever video game they're beating me at currently. So yeah, I won't be able to make it to C2E2, but I will be at Gary Con if anybody happens to be going to that. Garen Knight, any word or updates on potential Sirenscape integration? So we are working with Sirenscape right now on something that is just too secret that I can't talk about. That is going to be a really, really cool production that we're doing. But as far as integrating into the character sheet or any of these other things, we want to do that and plan to do that eventually, but I have no specific timelines that I can give. Skyling, any update on when custom slash homebrew warlock invocations might be coming? Very likely during the homebrew update that I talked about a little earlier. And as I said, it's not on the slide, but it's probably one of the things that would come up onto the slide in the next range. Murgon, does D&D Beyond, oh, D&D Beyond, does D&D Beyond, that's a funny typo, have any intentions of creating their own adventures and modules? We do this to some degree at this point in time with James Hake and some of our guest writers who do Encounter a Week. I imagine at some point we will see some type of content that is a little more formalized come together, and we will make that available when we are ready to do so. Frank underscore the step. Any news on when we can expect to be able to purchase older rewards like frames and backgrounds that were available in previous pre-order material? I would say that by the time you can do something like purchase a really wicked, awesome, amazing set of dice to replace the alpha black and red ones, that would be a good time for us to introduce other types of things that you can also purchase to customize your character sheet and customize your experience. So I might have spilled too much there, but yes, it is coming and it is something that we have on our minds on a regular basis. Death Angel's Shadow, any progress on API access? Yes. The character sheet service that I was talking about earlier what we are doing internally to make sure that the thing doesn't die with the thousands of hundreds of thousands of extra people that we're getting on this regular basis now, coming to the service. All of that is laying groundwork that will eventually, no timelines, sorry, but eventually become public API access. But we've got to clean the house before we can invite everyone in. Melamber01, is there any work being done or planned to make it so that you can have equipment purchases auto subtract for your money? We definitely are planning to do something with that, possibly during some phase of our inventory management updates, where we want to have essentially stores that dungeon masters can set up. The problem with doing this automatically right now is the prices that are in the player's handbook or dungeon master's guide are just simply overridable by a dungeon master in their own campaign world. And so, that being the case, we have to have some mechanism that would actually control that costing in the first place. But once we have that in place, then yes, we will do auto deductions from whatever goods and monies and inventory that you have. D Doom 33. Are we going to be able to buy the different? Oh, I should have read that one before. Yes, you will be able to at some point. Eric Christian Berg with underscores. Is there any update on Dragon Marked race added spells being fixed? That is also one of those types of things that after we are able to clean the house on the character sheet side, we have a list of 100 things that are essentially rules debt, where certain types of mechanics have very specific rules that we have not been able to have the bandwidth to cover fully without workarounds previously in the past. But something like this is definitely on that list and something that we will be looking at, sooner rather than later. And I know that that is, hard to quantify for the community out there. But I will say that it's something that, we will at least start taking a look at that list, but the first half of this year. Let's see. Adrian of Terriel, what is your favorite way to play in person, digital, theater of the mind, grid, etc.? I certainly like playing in person better than remotely, but that is because there's just an energy in the room when you're with other people that a social vampire like myself feeds off of. And so I do enjoy being in person more, but I can play digitally. Certainly enjoy that. Any kind of playing. At the end of the day, it is playing a game, and if you're not enjoying playing a game, you shouldn't be playing. But then Theater of the Mind and Grid, I really do appreciate a combination of both. And I think that both have their place in play. I would say that if I had to choose one or the other, I would go with Theater of the Mind every time, because Theater of the Mind has no special effects budget, and you can do more with a whole lot less. Lord Theobald, or the Obald, possibly, will we be able to create subclasses easier? I am probably going to need you to be a little more specific with the question for me to answer that one very well. Overall, I can say that once we take a look at the overall homebrew system, the idea would be you would be able to create subclasses, spells, monsters, magic items, anything easier. So I can give that answer. But if there's some particular specific pain point that you're referencing, that is something that we would love to know about in our forums or on the Discord and the feedback channel. And we will certainly take note of that and pay attention to that feedback. Shell Shock PT. Will it be possible to add characters from multiple campaigns to the combat tracker? I don't know the final answer on that, but I will say that it makes sense that you would be able to add characters from anywhere. And so, whether we will do that initially or not, it is something that we would certainly want to be sure to cover. Pepper MD. Some video games have mod toolkits so robust that modders are able to create things that are completely unrecognizable from the original game. I think that's super cool. Do you see DDB eventually having a mod toolkit that advanced? Yes. How long it's going to take us to get there, I can't tell you. But yes, I think that it is fascinating, the scenario that you're describing. And we would love to see something like that happen. Saber Runner. I'm starting a new West Marches campaign soon. How many players can I fit in one campaign? I want about 20. Well, you're only going to get 12 because that's currently what the limit is in campaigns. And we do this for a variety of reasons. It is primarily content sharing. And so there could be some allowances in the future that we could consider to allow as many people as you want in a campaign, but then still restrict the sharing to a certain amount. But those are all things that we have not talked about or really done much of anything with yet. But we do see the occasional request for being able to run this West Marches style of campaign. If you are out there and you're just hankering to run West Marches, then you should probably let us know because right now it sounds like about three people yelling at the clouds. So if you want that to be louder to us and for us to take that more seriously and possibly prioritize it, I definitely ask that all the West Marchers of the world unite and rise up and let us know that the only way to play Dungeons and Dragons is West Marches or quit. So if that's where you are, then let us know that, and we will certainly consider that feedback and see what we can do with it. Dicey DM, why is Storm Knight UK such an extraordinary fellow? Why, he's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny. He is. He's an incredibly extraordinary fellow. Big shout out to Storm Knight UK. He is the person that is constantly answering your questions on Discord and in the forums. And he is also the person that is fixing all the weird typos that happen when we are digitizing our products. And he enters that content in the first place. He is the one that made the Blood Hunter happen for you all today. So he is an extraordinary fellow. And I will also give a shout out to Dicey DM, who is his manager, for not only kindly getting him put on a spotlight here within the dev update, that's being a good manager, but also running the whole operation of everything that I just described. So you are both jolly good fellows. Kale the Adventurer, are there any plans to expand homebrew capabilities, as in adding more options to those drop down menus? Would love to know what you mean more specifically about that. So if we're talking about modifiers, that sort of thing, wanting more of those, something we've certainly been talking about. But if there's something else that you're talking about, by all means, hit the forums or Discord and let us know, what specifically you're talking about, because we would love to take that into consideration as we start looking at some of the changes that we plan for the future. We've got about 10 minutes left. Adrian of Terriel, how will we be able to opt into the mobile alpha? Details forthcoming, because I actually don't know myself, but we will certainly publish those details as soon as we're ready to do so, and we will try to make it as easy of a process as possible. Benet UK, how long do you anticipate the subscriber playtest for the player app to last? To last, not asking for dates. So it sounds like you're kind of asking for dates by saying you're not asking for dates. But so genuinely just do not know. The alpha period will last until we feel like we have fine-tuned things to the point where we can move to public beta, which would then be accessible to anyone at that point in time. So um, I would try to answer that if I knew, but it really is. It just depends on what kind of feedback we get and what comes out in that initial alpha testing. Mithrandir 12508. Do you have a favorite brand of sweet tea? So yeah, I think I've answered this one before. So there is a local spot that's fairly decent food too, but it's called Stakeout. The thing that they really just do up to the nines though is sweet tea. So I frequently, far too frequently, go and get a gallon of sweet tea from Stakeout, and it accompanies me here in the office. So I don't have one today. Probably got to go get one after I get done here. My stomach's kind of starting to rumble. I do these dev updates like during prime time lunchtime for me, by the way, folks. So I just want everybody to understand the sacrifice that I'm making. And if you hear any strange noises, it is definitely a growling from the pits of the depths of me because I'm starving. All right. But yes, Stakeout, love their sweet tea. I am a really, really big fan otherwise of Connor's Steakhouse. Has like they do something really unique to their tea, and I haven't figured it out yet. It's incredibly good. I'm going there with the love of my life tomorrow for Valentine's Day. I love you, sweetheart. I know it's a day early, but I love you and I can't wait to go on holiday, to use the term that the Brits would use for that, this weekend with you, while we stow the kids elsewhere. I can't wait. But yeah, I'm gonna have that sweet tea at Connor's for sure because I love that there. I also love a local place that is called Piper and Leaf, that has just different kinds of flavors and varieties of tea. I love the front porch special that they have, but I also love things that have fruit in it, pineapple tea, and all of that. So, big fan of the tea, particularly with sweetening, substances in it. The Night Heron. Could you add some female Fearbolg portraits? Currently, there are two available, both male. Portraits are difficult for us because we have to use official artwork typically for those, and we are limited by what official artwork we have available. So that is not me trying to pass the buck in any way, but saying that if there are official portraits that are female Fearbolgs that you're aware of that we're missing, we absolutely will jump on top of that and get those added. And we do fairly regularly ask Wizards of the Coast to help us fill out some of those gaps as well. And so the lead time on that is pretty long, but hopefully over time we can continue to fill those gaps. But if you are aware of an official source that has a piece of artwork that would work for what you're saying, we will more than happily add that into D&D Beyond. Q bad at games, or quarterback ad at games, perhaps. How are you ensuring the truest randomization in dice rolls? I cannot answer that question for you, but I am sure that our development team, as soon as they saw this question pop up on the screen, are out there like shouting answers with the geekiest of methods that we are using to ensure randomization. The truth really is what we're going to be able to do digitally is far more random than what you're going to be able to have with an actual set of dice that is made with a physical material. So digital is going to be able to have the truest randomness possible, versus some of the unbalancing that happens with it with dice out there in the market. Let's see. Myth Randir 12508. Do you plan to have the dice available in the player app at some point or at launch? I'll definitely say at some point. I don't know if that will coincide with launch or not. We'll have to see. But it definitely will be there at some point. H. Gilham. Why do I sometimes have a multicolored dancing wizard on my character page? That is because you have clicked party time. So, party time, this one's been out there long enough that everybody knows where it is. Wait, where is he? Where is he? Oh, it's only on the character page, isn't it? We do so many Easter eggs, I can't even keep up with all of them anymore. We really do a whole lot of Easter eggs. Oh, wait. Oh, I see something. Let's zoom in. Wait, where is he? There he is. Party mode. Anybody ever seen party mode? Party mode. Party mode's crazy. All right. Disable the party time. Okay, but yes, that is something that you can enable if you want to go a little psychedelic with your D&D session. All right, let's see. M and M and M and M. M and M and M and M. You better lose yourself. Advantage, disadvantage on rolling these dice. Yes, you will certainly be able to mark advantage and disadvantage on rolling the dice. That will probably get better and better over time. I'm not exactly sure what we will do initially for that. But yes, advantage, disadvantage are central to the D&D experience, and they will be represented in the digital dice. Phil the DM, can we send dice to a timeout dungeon for bad rolling? That's certainly on our list for weekend or holiday type projects. Let's see. Let's see. Trying to lots of duplicates here, so I'm trying to go through the duplicates. Okay, Link Z15. Will there be additional dice skins?
Here's what I found on the web.
Wow, did you hear my phone right there? Did that come through the microphone? Apparently my phone was wondering about dice skins too. So I don't know, but I think I said something about that earlier, that there might be some additional dice skins. And if you are a subscriber and you participate in the alpha, there might be a special set of dice skins that you won't get anywhere else. So yeah, it's lots of excitement coming your way and our way. All right, maybe time for one more. Who bad 007 who is your favorite My Hero Academia character? Oh, Maita. Definitely a big fan of All Might in any of his forms. And so I think that's all the time that we have for today. I really do appreciate everyone joining me and for being here as I tried to fly through as many questions as possible. I still, looking at this list, have at least 50 that I did not get through. So, failure yet again, but failure, it doesn't have to taste unsweet. And so I tried to get through as many as I could today. But I do appreciate all of our fans, the entire community out there. We could not do any of this without you, and I genuinely mean that. So thank you for all of your engagement, all of your feedback. Please keep all of that coming, and we're going to keep doing our thing, and hopefully we're going to get, continue to get better and better over time. I hope everyone has a good week, and I'm trying to think. Yes, I will see you next week for another Dev update. Later, Gators.